أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي كفى والصلاة على المصطفى. My dear respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan ahsan jazaa for attending this session early in the morning, soon after Fajr Salah in Sri Lanka. Barakallahu fiikum jami'an. Today's topic is, we know that it is about a major topic which should be considered as a main theme, which is discussed among family members these days. Parents' responsibility in steering the youth in modern era. Khairan. So this is something very interesting topic and a timely needed topic since we are living in a modern era with all different challenges around us. You know that. But as a good parents, as we are having some sort of experiences, today I would like to connect to few Quran and Hadith, a few words from Quran and Hadith, and those will definitely give us an idea on how can we discuss few points, or how can we develop some ideas to help our kids, help the youngsters of this era grow well as per the Islamic ideology, inshallah. We know there are so many case studies in Quran. We know that there are so many case studies in Quran shares the story between father and son, between a parent and their kids, right? The first point I would like to mention is we have responsibility, but we don't have any control over our kids. So Quran, that is basically a sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is basically a sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because there are so many different studies, case studies in Quran. For example, I would like to take one or two cases. One is Yaqub alayhi salam and Yusuf alayhi salam story. Just think of that story. It is mentioned in chapter number 12, Surah Yusuf. The total story is mentioned in that surah about Yusuf alayhi salam. Since his birth to, he was leading the community. Since from his birth to the days he was leading the community. You know that story. Yaqub alayhi salam was a good father. He was a prophet. He was having direct guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala since he is a prophet, right? But for his children, for Yusuf alayhi salam and for Bunyamin, he was a good father, right? But as in the perspective of the other kids, Yaqub alayhi salam was not a good father. They were becoming rebellious against his father's thoughts and ideas, right? He was giving the perfect idea, so he was guiding his kids towards a successful manner. But very unfortunately, that good thoughts were taken by Yusuf alayhi salam and his brother Bunyamin, the younger brother Bunyamin, but not the other brothers. We know that story, right? The issue is that is a sunnah, that is an idea, or that is an example to understand that we have responsibility as parents, but we don't have any control over our kids, right? So that is one perfect example for that. Because he didn't have any double standard for his kids, Yaqub alayhi salam. But as in Allah's plan, as to show us some example, that story was mentioned in Quran. The Yusuf and Binyamin both were taking him as a good father, and they were raising as good kids. But unfortunately, the other son, they were taking rebellion against his father. They were trying to kidnap his own brother, right? They were trying to kill him even. So that much of worst case was happening in Yaqub alayhi salam and his kid story. You know that. And another example on the opposite side, see the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam and his father Azar. Ibrahim alayhi salam never gets any good ideas or thoughts from his father. He was searching the truth on his own. He was searching the truth on his own. So we can understand there are different stories from Quran that which can guide, which can clearly say that we have responsibilities towards our kids, but we don't have any control. Right? We should understand that at first, because that will lead us to guide our kids in the perspective of Islam. Because we know the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam, a conversation happening between Ibrahim alayhi salam and Azar, his father Azar. Once he was saying, وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ لِأَبِيهِ Azar, أَتَتَّخِذُ أَصْنَامًا آلِهَةً. Oh, my dear father, are you all obeying the idols? Are you all obeying the idols? I see you all in obvious error. I see you all following some sort of very dangerous sin. You all are obeying the idols. So that is not the basic. That is not basic quality of a man, right? You all are just obeying idols. So it is nothing, not scientifically or not logically proven. So he was just arguing with his father, right? Later on, he was searching the truth on his own. Ibrahim alayhi salam. He never got any ideas or thoughts from his father. He was searching, and Alhamdulillah, he was able to, at first he was looking at the star, and he says, "This is my Lord. Haza Rabbi, Haza Akbar." He was mentioning like that. And then he was seeing a moon, and then he said, "This is my Lord." And then later he says, he finds the sun, and he said, "This is my Lord. Haza Rabbi, Haza Akbar. This is big, and this is my Lord." And then finally he found, no, he was obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he was saying, yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Rabb. He himself searched the God. He himself searched the truth and identified that Allah is the greatest. Allah is the Rabb. Allah is the Lord for all, right? So he never got any ideas or any thoughts or any proper guidance from his parents, his father. So that is another story mentioned in Quran. Or even we can share some sort of different stories from Surah Al-Kahf itself. In the last few verses of Surah Al-Kahf, there are stories of an orphan kid. There is a story of a youth who was trying to earn on his own, but unfortunately his story was ending up in a different scene. So, my dear respected brothers and sisters, the first and foremost point is we have responsibilities, but we don't have any control over our kids. In the casual Muslim words, we can say the conveying of the message is from us, but giving the guidance, the tawheed is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tabligh, the conveying the message is from us, but giving the hidayah or the tawheed, the oneness of God, is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have to try on our own at our the best of ability. We have to try on our own, and then we have to come back and to keep the tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is what even Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a beloved prophet, was saying to his daughter Fatima radiyallahu anha. You know that, Ya Fatima bint Muhammad, ittaqillah. Ya Fatima bint Muhammad, ittaqillah. فإني لا أملك لك من الله شيئا. Ya Fatima, the daughter of Muhammad, you need to be cautious on yourself. You need to be cautious on yourself. I don't have any authority to deal in your case with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that was the saying of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to his beloved daughter. He know, inshallah, that she will be also in Jannah. But he has given the point of taqwa. He has given such a golden advice to his daughter that you have to deal on your own with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Since I am your father, since I am the prophet, the last prophet Muhammad, I don't have anything to deal with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is on your case. Your case is up to you. My case is up to me. The other's case is up to them, right? So that is how Islam guides us. So my dear respected parents, dear respected brothers and sisters, we have responsibilities towards our kids. We have to give the best of advises. We have to try our best of with all kind of best of abilities. We have to try our best and give the best ideas, thoughts, and the Islamic guidance to our kids. But we don't have any control over them, right? So that concept, that sunnah of Allah, that basic idea should be within us, which will help us to keep ourselves calm, keeps ourselves cool, and deal with our kids. And we can use a dua which was mentioned in Quran in Surah Al-Furqan, 25th chapter, verse number 74. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين وجعلنا للمتقين إماما. That is a fantastic dua mentioned in Quran, verse number 74, chapter number 25, Surah Al-Furqan. We know the meaning of that. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا. From our spouses and our kids, make them coolness of our eyes. Make them coolness of our eyes. Even though we are trying hard, even though we are trying to give them the better Islamic knowledge and to create such a platform for them within our homes, within our places, within the school premises, wherever it is, we have to keep the tawakkul in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to ask dua often. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين وجعلنا للمتقين إماما. That is point number one. We have responsibility, but we don't have any control. That is up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that should be dealt personally. Everyone has to deal with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number two, whenever at this topic we find that guiding the youth in current crisis or current era, the modern era, right? But this point or this thinking should be started at the early stages of their childhood. There are so many examples from Sirah, but there are so many sayings of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and there are so many case studies in Quran mentions about this. Right? We have to start the guidance, so we should guide them according to the Quran and Sunnah from their childhood, not just after they reach to the teenage time. That is what's happening these days, right? Because many of parents would come to an ustaz or a teacher in madrasa or a principal in school or a teacher in school or someone who mentors them, your kids. We would go to them and say, sir, oh sir, my son is not praying. My daughter is not praying. They are not obeying us. They are not being very good with us. They don't have good manners. They are having these problems. They are into this kind of affairs. And we complain often whenever they become teenagers. And we are facing so many different problems from them. And then we go to some mentors of them in school or madrasa, wherever it is. We go there and complain. The reason is we miss them to guide in the early stages. There is a hadith of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Muru awladakum bis salat wa hum abna sab'a sinin. Muru awladakum bis salat wa hum abna sab'a sinin. Wadribuhum 'alayha wa hum abna 'ashr. We know that hadith. Just think on that hadith. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, order your kids, your sons and daughters to pray at the age of 7, right? Guide them or start guiding them at the age 7. And then sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, even if they don't pray at the age 10, you have to beat them or you have to hit them and make sure that they are praying, right? We know that hadith, a very hadith repeated very often. We know that. But we don't think about the deep understanding of that hadith, of that saying of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Many atheists or those who are against Islam used to mention this hadith and say, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a man who always very much harder, even with the kids. He used to say, beat your kids just because they don't pray, right? They were mentioning this hadith. We might see in different platforms. That time, I was thinking on this hadith and just think from age 7 to 10, there are around 3 years time. 3 years means it is 1095 days. 1095 days means we have time for 5,475 times of prayer, right? 5475 times of prayer. Just imagine if a parent, if a father or a mother guides his son or daughter to pray with kind words for at least 3,000 or 4,000 times, would the kid would be away from prayers? No, never. They will be loving prayer. They will be automatically engaging their times with prayers. But we don't do that at that time, at the age of 7, in between 7 to 10, right? But we miss that time and we miss that great opportunity. And later, whenever they become teenagers, whenever they become 20s, and we do complain. So that is a mistake from ourselves, the parents. So my dear respected brothers and sisters, let's try our best to guide them with care, guide them with kindness. Whenever we say, Mahan, come, let's pray together. Mahal, come, take wudu. This is how we should pray. This is sujood. This is ruku. This is what you have to recite in sujood. This is the zikr we have to recite after salah. This is what we have to take care while we are praying. And if we guide in such way, definitely that would help them to learn it in the early stages, and they would love to be with the prayers forever, inshallah. But we miss that opportunity, and then we try to complain and change them after they become teenagers, or after they become early 20s. That is very difficult and very dangerous. So let's try our best to give some ideas or guide them from the early stages. That will definitely help us to grow them in a well-mannered way within our control, inshallah. So that is point number 2 I just wanted to mention today. Number 3. Number 3. Our words and our actions should always make them love and feel, make them feel our love towards them. That is also a sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why we have seen in Quran, there are so many different stories. One is of Ibrahim alayhi salam with his son Ismail alayhi salam. Another story from Luqman al-Hakim to his kids. Chapter number 31, right? That says the perfect aqidah advices, which is given from, which is the advices from Luqman al-Hakim to his son. وَإِذْ قَالَ لُقْمَانُ لِابْنِهِ يَا بُنَيَّ لَا تُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ. Starts from that, right? So we know those kind of kind words, those perfect words will definitely reach out to them. But today we see in our community, we see in our neighbors, so we see within our families, right? We don't respect them. We don't respect the youngsters. We don't call them in very good words, right? We used to have, even in some city suburbs, parents used to have very ugly words with their kids. It is an unfortunate situation of our family, right? Ismail alayhi salam and Ibrahim alayhi salam, father and son story. Ibrahim alayhi salam was mentioning about one dream he was into, and he was mentioning that to his son Ismail alayhi salam and asking for his opinion. How? Inni ara fil manami anni azbahu fanzur madha tara. Fanzur madha tara. My dear son, I saw that I am sacrificing you on behalf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What is your opinion? What is your opinion? He was asking for his opinion. son's opinion and sacrificing himself, right? So he was saying, the son saying, Ya abatif al ma tu'ma satajiduni insha'Allah min as-sabirin. Do whatever as per the advice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as per the order from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, do whatever, you will see me as a person with patience, right? He was saying that. So this kind of engagement, this kind of good communication, do we have with our kids, especially with our youth, the girls and boys who are into their teenage or who are in their early 20s? Do we have that? We should have that. That will definitely help them to become closer with us. For example, if you are a businessman, if you are having any issues within your business, you might have decades of experience in your business. But just for the sake of Allah, just to get your kids closer, come and sit with them, take them to your business spot, and discuss with them about your issue, the problem. Then definitely they would take care of it. They would really care about your issue, and they will come out of some sort of good solution for sure, inshallah. So that is also a guidance from Quran and Sunnah. We know that. We know these kind of stories, but we don't practice that in our family life. We don't practice it our kids. So if we take them, even in their school days, to our business places or to our working spaces, definitely they will understand how hard we are trying to find a solution for our problems, issues. Definitely they will help us, and they will definitely cooperate with us. That will definitely help them to grow with much care and with much love with us, inshallah. So, my dear respected brothers and sisters, let's try to keep them closer with us, even in their even in their teenagers, and even in their later parts of youth life in 20s. That will help them to come closer, and that will help them to understand ourselves. That will help them to take care of us even after our elderly time, even after our weaknesses, all our weaknesses, they would take care of us. That will definitely make them become very much closer with us, inshallah. So that is point number 3, which I wanted to share today with you all. We should get them for discussions. We should make sure that they are engaging with us. We should speak to them in good words, with good words, very politely, and especially regarding their issues in schools or in their universities, wherever they go, whomever they are engaging with. Especially in that case, we have to have a good understanding and proper conversation with them. Then they will share their stories, and they will come closer to us and get the solutions for their problem. If we become very arrogant in dealing with them, they would go for somewhere else. We know that. That is what's happening in most of the families today, because the parents don't get the time to sit with the kids and talk. So the girls, especially the girls, they don't have an opportunity to discuss with their parents about their personal issues, about their natures, about the problems what they are facing in their school or universities, right? So they would search for someone else out of the family. They would search for some other boys. So that will end up in very dangerous cases. That will end up in very dangerous cases. We know that. So if we can give a proper timing for our kids to discuss their problems, inshallah, that will make sure that they will be with us. Even though in all hard times, they will be being with us and discussing the things and get the solution out of it, inshallah. So, my dear respected brothers, I just wanted to repeat the 3 points which I mentioned. Number 1, we have responsibility. We should understand that we have responsibility, but we don't have any control over them. Quran clearly mentions about that with fantastic stories. We have seen Yaqub Yusuf alayhi salam, their story, and we have seen discussed the story of Ibrahim alayhi salam with his father, and we have seen some different stories from Surah Al-Kahf. And the point number 2, every training, every good ideas or thoughts from ourselves. The parents should start from the early stages. They have discussed the hadith about muru awladakum bis salat. The guidance for prayer should start at the age of 7, and then if they don't pray, if they don't follow it to rule, yes, we have an opportunity to beat them, or we have an opportunity to hit them at the age of 10. But we should utilize all the opportunity in between. There are 5,475 kinds of prayers for them to guide with care, with love, with good words, right? So we should not miss that, and later we should not complain about their prayers and their Islamic attitude. That is point number 2. Point number 3 was our words, our care, our love should be always visible, and that should be very clear and very transparent. That will make them understand and be with us. That will make them come closer to us, and that will make sure that they would get perfect thoughts and ideas, guidance from us as parents, inshallah. Jazakumullah khairan. I was able to spend only around 25 to 28 minutes with you all. Within that time, I was just sharing some thoughts from Quran and Sunnah regarding guiding the youth in these modern times, modern challenges. So, Jazakumullah khairan. If there is any questions or points to discuss, feel free to share.